Hello, Facebook world. My name is Tara Ingalls, and I'm owner of Tingles Graphic Design. This is Emily Duffy next to me, and we are here to talk about marketing tips and get answers to your burning marketing questions. So grab your cup of coffee and let's get started. So today what we thought we would talk about and discuss is trade show marketing. Trade show marketing is very, very popular in the spring. In fact, Tingles will actually be at 3 different trade shows this spring, so say hello. But we were at one last night for the Monona Madison Eastside Business, or Monona Eastside Business Alliance, and we thought we would talk a little bit about what we saw, what went well, maybe what didn't go well, and then we're going to share some of the stuff that we have behind us as examples and talk a little bit about promotional items. And what else are we going to talk about?
I think that sounds great.
That sounds great. So if you have questions, I see something on the screen right there, Becca, if you could look at that. If you have any questions for us, shoot them out along the way. Otherwise, we will also post this video, and you'll have a chance to take a peek at it there too. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was Tingles has a trade show planner, which I'll put the link at the bottom of this post, and you'll be able to download it. It'll be a PDF. But what's really awesome is that it will be something that you can use to sort of pre-plan at the event, kind of have a goal, and then post trade show follow up what you need to do once you have leads or you have people who are interested in your products and services. So some of the components of this are to identify, the attendee profile, so who's coming to the event. I think it's really important to know who your target audience is that's coming to the events. Is it, is it the Kids Expo, so there's going to be children there? Does your booth need to be kid-friendly, have kids activities? One of the most popular kids activities, even just having a coloring station where the kids can color while the parents can talk to the trade show people running exhibitors, so they can talk to them, just so the kids have it like an activity or like a water table, or I saw like a Lego table where people could play with Legos and things like that. I think that really helps people focus, because when you have little ones and you're at a trade show like that, it's really difficult to, I think, focus. Mm-hmm. So that was the first thing. What is your overall goal for the show? I think it's great to go into a trade show. I mean, most trade shows are going to be $200, and then when you add on the employee wages that are going to be working the show, the promotional items that you're giving away, the printed materials you're giving away, if you're going to do any advertising like direct mail, like all of that goes into a very large budget that you need to have for a trade show, and you want to get that out of the trade show. That's the whole point. So going into a trade show and having a goal in mind, whether it's to promote a certain product or a service or connect with a certain demographic at the show, I think it's good to identify what that goal is, so that everyone's on the same page, everyone's talking about the same thing. Right below that is talking about key messaging. So, do you have 3 icebreaker questions that that you can ask somebody? One of the trade show folks yesterday had these they're like stress balls, and so they were literally like throwing these out to people in the audience, and they're really soft, so if they if they hit you in the head or whatever, they're okay. But it's a way to engage people, get them to come into your booth. Everybody is looking for cool swag. I mean, that was definitely something that we saw a lot of yesterday, was some pretty unique things. I guess we could just jump to that. So what are some things that you saw yesterday that you thought were kind of neat?
So when I go to trade shows, I like to get swag that I will use. So I got, this beautiful pen, and it has MG&E on it. So I know that every time I use this pen, I'll see that branding, and that will become familiar to me. Do that to your customers. And notebooks, lines without lines, both branded. So
and not a lot of branding on the notepads. I've actually noticed that some people do notepads, but then you get them and there's really no room to write because they added their address and everything.
It's just really little right at the top.
Yeah.
And so I will use these, and when I do, I will see the brand.
Yeah. And those are great to keep in your car for shopping lists, stuff like that.
These have been really popular. The hand sanitizers, they're like little tubes. with hand sanitizer in them, which is fun and
It's
useful.
great for summer.
It's like a clip, so it's easy.
You can throw it on like a purse or in your car.
It's sunscreen.
Oh yeah, you can use sunscreen. Sunscreen packets are really popular as well. So when we recommend promotional items for our clients, we try to give them an item that makes sense for their company. Everybody gives pens. We saw a lot of water bottles, which are great. Water bottles definitely are reusable and will, as free advertising when people are carrying those around and such. Incentives did this trade show, and they some of their promotional products were focusing on travel. So, how cool is this to have like a zip bag that you would take whenever you travel? So like whenever you're throwing something in your suitcase or something. And this is actually a roomy bag, which is it's a pretty high-end product, but because it's of the size of it, it's pretty inexpensive. You want that, don't you?
I do. I want all of it. Just kidding. Or if you have a tech company, this is really cute. It's a USB. It's just like wound up in this little, but you can put your logo right on the front.
And it's got the Galaxy and the iPhone attachment, so you don't have to worry about getting one or the other. Those are pretty fun. This is something, Emily just saw this and was like, I want to have that. This is Wegner CPAs. So how cool is this? This goes in your, I'll come a little closer. So this comes in your, what is that called? Vent. The vent of your car, and sticks in there, and then it stretches so you can put your iPhone in there or your phone or whatever. So that's kind of fun to have in your car, and something that you're going to see every day that you get in your car.
So that's cool swag.
Yeah, cool swag. This is kind of cool. This is Fraboni's. So Fraboni's contacted Just Coffee, and they actually had a door prize, and they gave away free coffee to a couple different people that had won from their Dropbox. So we recommend going to Office Depot or something like that and getting a professional Dropbox, not just a basket, something like that, something that can hold a lot of cards. We also tend to put a couple cards in there right off the bat just to make it look less empty. Let's do that. But personalization, I think, is just kind of the important part. Something that people are going to see, something that's not hugely branded, with not a lot of graphics. If you have an icon portion of your logo that's kind of cool, you could do something cool with that on a piece of promotional items, things like that. So one of the questions that came in was, how many exhibitors should you have at your table? That's a good question. I would say at least 2. We actually had 3 at our trade show last night. We didn't have all 3 of us were not standing at the table the whole time. What we did is we had like one kind of going around and meeting with all the exhibitors, because the exhibitors were actually partially our target audience as well for the show, just because some of them were clients and some of them were prospective clients. But I just feel like having 2 is good, because then someone can man the table if you need a break. Like, I was on my feet a lot yesterday, and so I went into the lobby and just literally sat there for about 15 minutes just to give my feet a break. And so that's great to have backup at the table for that. I think if you have too many people, I love the Gorilla Movers. They moved my home, and they had like 6 people in their booth. And not only did they have 6 people, but these guys were big. Like, they were 6'4" and just big guys, and so you couldn't even really see their booth, which they're walking around, they've got t-shirts on, they're good advertisements for their services, obviously, but it was difficult to even get to the table to like grab materials and things like that. So I would have just had them rotate. It was a 3-hour show, or you had to be there like after 3. The doors opened at 4, so a 3-hour show can be kind of long. So if you do shifts, then people only have to work 1 hour, which kind of helps a lot.
Yeah, and then you can stay energized the entire time versus trail off towards the end.
Yeah, my throat was pretty sore because we were also near the music. I would be near the food, maybe not near the music next time.
I would say also, if you have a computer or an iPad that needs an outlet, if you need anything with an outlet, make sure to coordinate that before the trade show so that you don't have issues upon arrival. You can't always assume that there will be outlets for you.
Yeah, we brought an iMac to rotate some of our work, and then found out that our booth didn't have availability for that, which is our fault because we didn't read the fine print. But that's on here, the list of things to bring, a checklist of materials. the event that we went last night to, in order to save cost on the event, they actually, since most people have their own tablecloths, they decided not to tablecloth and skirt the tables. You had to actually like let the chamber know whether or not you wanted a tablecloth. And I was actually surprised how many people had their own tablecloth, which I think is just an added, added bonus. So this one we did is pretty inexpensive. It can be full color. This one is white with just a logo on the front. But what's cool about this, the print vendor for this, is that it's can be full on print. So let's say you have a pattern in your logo, or you want to add photography or something like that to it. You can do that in this particular graphic. Emily's going to show you something else that we use quite a bit called a table runner, which is a lot less expensive, and you can get it really at any width that you want. Again, full print. It matches the blue Pantone that we have in our logo.
And it's double-sided.
And it's double-sided, so if you have a small table, it would show up on both sides of the table, which I thought was kind of neat. This one's, I think, like 24 inches, something like that, but they can go up to really big. Like, you can go up to like an 8-foot table, so if you don't even want to do like a full skirt and you know that you're going to be like in the center where you can't even pinch your tablecloth on the sides.
So what would be the benefit of getting a smaller one versus a full table?
I would say the benefit of a smaller one is that it's a little bit more versatile. You can use it on any table size. So this one, for example, if he were on a table that was only like 3 feet, he's going to be cutting his logo off. So this particular company or organization knows that they're going to be using it on an 8-foot table, so that's why they chose this. But the table runner, we've used it for golf outings. We're going to put it, we're having an event later today for our Spoons March Madness, and we're going to use it as our food tablecloth. So I think it's got a lot of uses. It's machine washable, which is super awesome, because at the golf outing, there was tons of food spilled on it, and people set their drinks down and they get spilled and stuff. So you definitely want something that's that can be washed.
Yeah, and the fabric is really durable. It feels like half the
Yeah, it's pretty thick.
But the cost difference for a smaller one versus a larger one is...
I think that the smaller ones are like in the $40 to $50 range. I don't remember. But then what is this one? What was it? $250, something like that. This is actually a 3-sided tablecloth, so there's no skirting on the back. So you can get a full tablecloth. You can get a 6-foot, 8-foot. This is a 3-sided. So kind of depending on what your budget is, and thinking about the trade shows that you're going to be participating in, we can give you some suggestions on what would be the best fit. So kind of using this as our guide. So pre-show marketing, social media is awesome for that. Definitely letting people know that you're attending, inviting them to come. The more people that come, the better. The more people spread the word, the better for everybody. So do, at least some social media blasting.
And, the expo itself will also have their social media going, so sharing that and getting those images to be familiar to your clients as well is helpful.
Yeah. Oh, so Becca said, how many trade shows should I do in a season? I think it depends on your budget. The chamber trade shows, if you're part of a trade, they weren't very expensive. I want to say they were between $100 or $200. They can be a little bit more expensive. I think it depends on the venue that they're having them, whether they have food. This one had a live band or a live guitarist for some background music, which was kind of cool. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I guess I think it depends on your audience and, again, what you're going to get out of it.
It might be industry specific as well, depending
Sure.
on which industry you're in.
Yeah. But I do like the expo, the chamber expos. I feel like they're really well attended. I was very impressed with that one yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, follow-up. So the most important thing for trade showing is following up with the leads that you met or the people that you met. And my rule of thumb is to have as little as possible on the table to avoid clutter. There were a lot of booths yesterday that I felt like they literally, their entire table, and these were 6-foot tables, I think, were just stacks of 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. So they weren't even propped up so that you could kind of skim the headlines or see what they were. So I felt like that was kind of, for me, it's like a little bit like I don't want to go up and look because I know that I spend most of my time like reading the flyers and stuff. So I feel like less is more when it comes to bringing stuff with you, and use that time to connect with leads and follow up with them later by sending them something either via mail or dropping it off personally. Was at a trade show, and one of the gentlemen that was next to me actually had staff back at the office who was preparing like proposal packages based on people's interests and mailing them out that day so that they would literally be on their desk the next business day, which I was like, wow, that's pretty strong. But it also weighs, people have bags and it just weighs their stuff down, and I don't know how many times like I have bags in my office that I haven't even looked in. So having the opportunity to like follow up with them afterwards, I think is really the way to go. So signage, I think, is important. We've got a couple really, we did a different video, but we have a couple pieces that I feel like are really low-cost signage. So this is a really low-cost sign. It's full color. It's got kind of a little bit of a gloss laminate on it. It's got easel backs on it, so it stores flat, and it's on foam core. So super lightweight. Definitely wouldn't be traveling with this. It's going to probably get damaged, but it does come like kind of with 2 pieces of cardboard to kind of keep it protected, but this is kind of a neat sign option. This is the sign that we take from Tingles, and we have this actually on an easel back, or an easel, like table easel, because it's a little bit heavier, but it's a little bit more durable too. It's made out of Sintra, which is like a hard plastic.
Yeah, so it's just a table easel.
Yeah, it's like a table easel. Yeah, but it's got like, it's made out of, you know, it's not as, like if you drop foam core, it's dented, it's done. Like the art is going to get hurt. So we've been recommending putting it on something a little bit thicker than this. And there are also materials that pop up that you can actually roll. I think they're called styrene. So you can actually roll up the sign if you need to put it in like a mailing tube or something like that. So, but I just didn't see a lot of signage. I saw a lot of people, and I saw a lot of swag and like promotion, like brochures and stuff, but I didn't see like a billboard type sign that says, this is what we do, this is where we're located. We actually saw a new apartment complex, and they had a beautiful display, but it didn't tell anybody where the apartment complex was, and there was a rendering of the apartment, but I didn't even know where it was. So like, you know, making sure that you're kind of clear about, you know, your messaging and stuff like that. No, it's okay. This is another little sign that's kind of fun, and these come in all different sizes. This is kind of like a miniature version of our 3-foot by 6-foot retractable banner that we do that just retracts into the base. Again, really low cost. This is pretty small, but if you're doing, like maybe you're sponsoring the food table or something like that, you could put a little banner like this that would say like food sponsored by in your logo or something like that.
And that's good for traveling as well, because it's safe when it's all wound up.
Yeah, it's metal, so it's not gonna get dinged too much. This was probably my favorite promotion that somebody had at their booth. They just had a tub of water, and then they had a whole bunch of little ducks that they had got, I don't know, from the dollar store or somewhere, and they put numbers on the bottom so that the little ducks are swimming in there, and then the number was like a different gift. And I ended up getting the number 1 gift, which I was pretty happy about. But but I got to keep the duck too, because they only had one number 1 gift. But you know, they had koozies, they had fabric totes, so they had some nice things that you could win. But it was just kind of like, you know, the apartment complex is on the water, so I think it was a tie-in to like Rubber Ducks water playing, something like that. So it still kind of had a tie-in, but I thought it was fine. It definitely drew me in. I wanted to know what it was all about, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, so. I don't know, anything to add?
I guess, do you have any like negative experiences from yesterday? I would say the electricity. Yeah,
the electricity was a bummer, only because we didn't bring, I guess, you know, expect like to have backup. Like that was something that we didn't have any backup for that, so we didn't bring any print collateral to showcase our work or anything. We literally brought an iMac that was going to be part of our display, so that was a little hard, but, you know, I mean, I think it worked out fine for us, but I don't feel like there were really any negatives. At the event, they had a passport, and it was like a little piece of cardboard, and every vendor was part of that. And what they did is they incentivized people to go around and have what they said meaningful conversations, because in previous years, this particular trade show, you would just walk up and they would just hand you the card and you would sign off on it without actually having a conversation. And what they were doing with this is they had $1,400 in like grand prizes that they were giving away, and they wanted people to have meaningful conversations, or at least ask a question or things like that. And then all of those passports were put into a drawing, and then winners were chosen and stuff. But I think that went over fine with people.
How do you know when to give away a business card?
That's a good question. So business cards are a really great small item that you can give away if the person doesn't want to give you their contact information. I feel like there's definitely still a place for business cards, even though some people will scan them in and maybe even toss them. But I feel like having a very clear, well-designed business card that says what you do, maybe even has a bulleted list of services on the back, maybe something unique. Tingles offers a couple different unique shapes for business cards. Like the Tingles business cards are circle, but there's a couple other really neat shapes, like you could do a square business card, or you could do rounded edges on the business card, something to give it, you know, a little bit of a difference. There's a really cool paper called Trifecta, which is a really thick, like 3-part stock. It's just really thick, and it gives it some, I don't know, people always think that they're sticking together because it's like, but they're not. But I don't know, I still feel like there's definitely a place for business cards, and have them on you the whole time. Like I had them in my back pocket, and a couple of people came up to our booth and were interested in giving us their card and had to go back to their booth and get it and then bring it back. So I would just say have them on you. Maybe wear a jacket that has pockets, something like that. Attire is probably something we should talk about.
Wear comfortable
shoes. You know, flats. I mean, I saw somebody that had on like 4-inch heels. She looked bomb, but I don't know how she walked around for 3 hours in those heels, like heels that you have like as high as your heels. But I would say wear comfortable shoes, wear clothing that, you know, is comfortable, professional. You don't know what you don't know what the audience is really going to be. Sometimes they're really casual. Like golf outings, I feel like are a little bit more casual, that you could wear like a polo or like a t-shirt too. But I would wear, I'm not saying you have to wear like a suit or anything like that, but just something that, you know, you're comfortable in, that makes you approachable, and a very visible name tag. I was actually going to throw this out there for whoever's listening. I will design you a name tag that's, grab ours. People, just the stickers don't work. They fall off. One girl had it like up in her hair, and stuff like that. So I would encourage you guys, if you want to get a professional name tag like these, I think they run like $15 for printing. We'll set up the design for you, and we'll do like a big batch of them so that they're low cost.
And they're magnetic,
yeah,
so they don't damage your clothing. So and they stick through sweaters and everything. So
yeah, I had a pretty thick jacket on that it stuck through.
So where do you put your name tag?
Oh, you put it on the right side. Why do you do that?
When you shake a hand, the vision, right?
Yep, it's a line of sight they're looking at.
So like right here.
Yeah, so on the right side. And put it 2 inches higher than you think, because when you look down, people put their name tags here, but really you want to put it like kind of, you know, between your shoulder in that spot right there. So, but a lot of trade shows will have lanyard name tags, and I don't like those because I usually wear necklaces or jewelry, and I feel like they get tangled. But also because when you're talking to someone and, you know, they're maybe standing or they're holding a bag or whatever, you can't see their name. So I really like, even if you get like the trade show, we just put them on the side, but we just always carry around our magnetic name tags. And we have more than one too. Like I have 4 now. I have one in my car, one in my purse, and one in my office. So I just kind of have multiples of them, so I have them all the time, and I wear them all the time. So that's good. That's a good question. Well, I think that's a wrap. We would love to, you know, assist in any trade show marketing you need, any signage, any tablecloth. We do also print promotional items and help you guys, not in here, but we'll help you navigate what you should be choosing for that and help get your logo put on that.
And if you have questions about what maybe your specific industry or company should be doing, we're happy to answer those and assist you and navigate towards the solution that's best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So have a great weekend. Go Badgers. I know they're playing this afternoon, so we'll see you guys soon.